My guest today is one of my longest industry friends. She's the marketing director at Rehau and a huge part of their growth in the cabinet and millwork industries. I'm personally a huge fan of Rehau surfacing products like RAUVISIO Noir, Crystal, and Terra, having used their cabinet door program myself years ago in my own shop. And I'm also a huge proponent of their laser edge banding for hot air or laser capable edge banders. We talk about our past featured projects together, the current landscape in surfaces and edge banding in the cabinet and closet industries, and the behind the scenes of marketing one of the biggest players in our industry. Really enjoyed my conversation with my friend, Miss Jessie Collins. I'm really excited that you're here and that we're doing this. So I would just love, I know kind of a little bit about, from the day that I met you, like I think 8 years ago or so, kind of the rise of what you've been doing. But tell me, like beforehand, how did you even get in the industry and here?
Sure. It's actually a fun story that I love to tell. Mom worked for Rehau for 32 years.
Really?
So there are photos of me in the Rehau legacy of like her pregnant with me, walking around the halls of our building. Born and raised Rehau. It's in my blood. Yeah,
Wow.
absolutely.
I didn't
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah. And then I turned 16, needed a summer job, and they were doing internships. Glorified, I would say. It was more of like, let's create this database or take these paper files and put them
Yeah.
into a
Sounds
computer.
sounds really fun.
Exactly. So I did that for 5 summers and then graduated college in '09. So that was not a lovely time to get a job.
hmm
Never in my wildest dreams thought I would be back at Rehau. I was like, no, I'm going to do something cool.
What did you think you were going to do? What was
Well,
the
I was very much in marketing and knew I wanted to do marketing. I wanted to convince people to buy things they don't need, and has always been a passion. But thought, I don't know, some like luxury brand or, whatever a 20-year-old's wildest dreams would be. But um, definitely there were not a lot of opportunities, but thankfully, someone was going out on maternity leave at Rehau, and we needed a temporary person in our millwork and cabinetry division as a marketing coordinator. So I started there.
what year
And
was that? Was that '09?
'09, yep. So started as a marketing coordinator, and that was very much like a blend of product management development, ensuring our stock program for Edgeband was up to par, and also did some communication stuff as well. So making sure our trade shows and things like that were moving forward. If you had any advertising moving forward, and then have kind of worked my way up to more projects, more responsibility throughout those now 15 years. So now I'm the marketing director. Have done a little bit of adjustments of like responsibility of different roles at Rehau, but now very much back into fully the millwork and cabinetry world and supporting from a marketing, communications, branding, product insights and market research, all of that stuff.
Sure.
And it
How
is my passion.
how big of a team do you have with you?
I have 3 people who work directly for me,
hmm
2 here in the US and 1 in Mexico.
I see. And so
Hmm.
you are the North America market, right? In solely. Okay, I see. That's awesome. So we originally met, I think it was 2017. If I was looking back at some of the features that I'm about to
So,
talk about, and I think it was somewhere in that range. And so I had started my small cabinet shop, and I was just getting into frameless and like ultra modern projects.
mhm.
And Eric Theraldson, formerly with the Holdall Company, showed me Phoenix at the time and the cabinet door program that I think you guys are still doing, right? Cabinet door order,
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
And and I was just like, man, I have this crappy edge bander. You're telling me I can do, seamless, modern matte high gloss finishes, and so I was like hooked right away. And ended up doing a project with Phoenix at the time, and it ended up becoming, I think, one of the first features of the cabinet door program. Like,
Yes. It
am I right
was
about that?
the very first full feature, we call them a reference project or testimonial that we ever did. We had done a couple like half ones before that, but they don't count.
Yeah,
Yours
yeah.
was the first real one.
That's so, man. I didn't know that we were the first at the time, but I just remember, I don't know if I've ever told you this, but that was like the biggest deal in the world to me. I was like this
I love it.
small little, nope, I just figuring it out. That might have been I don't even think that was my 5th project ever. Like, it was so early and so soon. Um, and if anyone wants to see those are still on Rehau. I believe the website, right?
Absolutely.
So if
Yeah. If you
you,
search na.rehau.com/references or just poke around on our North American website, you'll
yeah,
find them. No,
and I
no
think even
problem.
just a Google of Rehau and Frost together, I
Oh,
think
yeah.
pops up a bunch of them. I found some this morning, and
Absolutely.
we ended up doing, I think, 4 total over a couple years there, and that was just such a big deal to me. So thank you for doing that, and it was awesome.
Absolutely. You were such a great partner to work with, not only as like a customer to supplier relationship, but as someone who would tell the story of the project and believed in the project. I remember walking into, I think it was the lofts or something where I like officially met you maybe in person for the first time.
Yeah, I think that was the second one we did, the security
The
lofts
second project, the
in
security loss, and
North Loop. Yep.
absolutely, and I was just wowed at the design detail and like what you brought to this space to make I guess it was a high-end condo unit, I think, if I'm remembering correctly, what how just straight up cool it was
Well, thank
because of
you,
what you implemented,
man.
and didn't expect that to come out of out of Minneapolis, and it like completely blew my mind at the
Wow.
time. It was
Thank
like
you. That's
so
amazing to hear.
impressive.
I gosh, I don't even think that might have been even my 8th project ever. Like, it was just so early and just kind of figuring it out on the fly. And actually, that brings me, do you remember you had the metal door project for a very
Yes.
short period of
My
time?
gosh.
And
Yes.
so we used, I think, 4 or 6 accent
Yes.
stainless doors
Yes. Mhm.
for this part. And my understanding is that was really hard to do on your end, right? The metal edge banding
Yes.
part.
Yes.
And didn't they
We
even come
couldn't even
from
do it.
Europe at the time?
Right, it came from Europe. We couldn't even do it. There's like a handful of machines in the world that have, well, capabilities or, a bold enough operator
Right.
to run that
Yeah.
real metal through their equipment.
Yeah.
And yeah, we actually sourced those custom from Europe as part of our program. And wow, were you ahead of the curve because now we can't keep our hands on our metal-like product. It's
I
not
see.
metal anymore, but it's like our
Yep.
metallic version, which we
Yeah.
can talk about later. But
The
we can,
coppers and all of those
yes, we
different tones. Yeah.
cannot keep it. It's
That's awesome.
just everywhere. And so you knew something 8 years ahead
Well,
of
I
time.
just remember those doors being so cool, and I think trying to Mike McCormick at the time, who formerly was with, I just remember hearing how difficult those were to pull off, and
Yes.
yeah, that was awesome. So so the cabinet door program is going strong. I loved that at the time. It allowed me to do things that I couldn't do with my crappy edge
Right.
bander. How is that going overall? Is that
It is absolutely incredible. I mean, it serves the exact need of what you described. I love that that's how you described it because it for sure allows any type of shop. So whether you're a shop like yours where you were small and you had a crappy edge bander
Mhm.
and didn't feel like your equipment could service the goals of the project, or you're like a frame forward shop and but you got this, great lead on a cool new frameless project. Um, it allows for shops to bid on projects they maybe thought they never could, or to implement designs they thought they never could, with like super high-end quality products. So, what we've done since you were using it is just expand the program and the capabilities and what we offer to the market now. So, not only do we have 7 surface material lines, we also will do
what are those?
integrated
What are those
handle.
7?
Oh,
So you have the
sure.
mat. Yeah.
Yeah, so we have the super matte, which is we have like two levels of quality there. We have our RAUVISIO Noir, which is the
Hmm.
top quality, and then a RAUVISIO Shade, which is for a more value-oriented project. Both beautiful products, both really nice, but um,
And those are just
different levels.
fundamentally different technologies, right?
Yeah,
Essentially.
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
the RAUVISIO Noir is a an HPL product at its core, and then the RAUVISIO Shade is a PET. So, yeah, just offering two different levels of matte because we all know matte is still and probably will be king for quite a while
Oh, yeah.
when it comes to the high-end European modern style.
Hmm.
So we have those two, and then we have our high gloss, our RAUVISIO Brilliant, which is an acrylic high gloss product, really at the top of its game when it comes to achieving like a reflective quality and like it's like a true mirror basically, and then not having to deal with those orange peel or dimples that some other products will have. And then we have a product that is meant to mimic a back painted glass, so the Ralvisio Crystal. I'm not sure if you ever used that. Um,
I think I did once. I'm trying to remember what project, but I do recall. Yeah. Yep. It's a
And
cool
that one
look.
is cool. It's basically it's combined with the edge band. You bevel it on the side,
Hmm.
cut it at with the bevel tool on your edge bander, and it looks like there's a piece of glass sitting on top of a painted surface. So that one is truly unique in the market. And then we have two wood grains. One is Ravizio Terra, which is also an HPL type product. Super durable, really allows for a lot of impact resistance if
Hmm.
you're putting it in a high traffic area like a kitchen. And then we have Ravizio Ingrain, which I always say is like impossible to describe without looking at it, but we had that
It
at the
is.
show
Yep.
everywhere. Uses instead of embossing the gloss levels like highs and lows to follow the grain. So it really looks like a real veneer, but it's more in between a veneer and a TFL from like a
Hmm.
product.
What do
And
you call
then
it? Like a WFL or something?
WFL, yeah,
Yeah.
wood fiber laminate.
Nice.
Yes, yeah, because it really is its own category of
It
product.
is
It
very
doesn't
unique.
fit
Hmm.
in it's not a TFL, it's not a veneer, but it has like wood pulp inside of it, so it
Yep.
has real wood. But
I
then like
remember the first time I saw it, like actually Dan Durand, who's no longer with us, but
yeah, yeah,
showed me, man, a couple years ago now. He just had a couple samples and he's like, "What do you think of
hmm
this?" And it kind of blew my mind. It was really interesting, especially the price point, right? Because it isn't it
yes.
much more. The cost is much less than some of the premium products that you have, right? Generally.
Exactly. Yeah, it's getting closer to that TFL price point. That's why we also say it's in between a veneer and a TFL. It's getting closer to that high-end TFL, like a clay off or something, type product from a price point of view. But my goodness, is it a luxurious look when
Yeah,
it's installed? Like incredible. Hard to describe
it
without
is.
having samples. I would say that for a lot of our products. Um, yeah, looking at the samples, just feeling them, etc. So
And
that
then
one is a fan favorite for sure right now.
and then you have the metallic ones that we were talking about.
Yeah, so that's Ralvisio Ferro. We have four metallic colors that range from like a stainless steel to like a carbony color to not quite copper yet, but we're hopefully getting into like a brassy copper type world here shortly. So yeah, but again, that one is like taking off. You are like ahead of the curve
And
on that.
all of those are available in the cabinet door program, like across the
All of
board.
them are available in the cabinet door program. Yeah, yeah.
It's
And
awesome.
then everything from everything available slab, but we also offer a 5-piece
See,
shaker in most lines as well.
nice. How many facilities
Yeah.
do you have doing the cabinet door manufacturing?
Two,
I
two.
see.
Mm-hmm.
Really, two facilities are feeding everything.
Yes,
Wow.
yes. And they're kind of centrally located so they can go out to each each coast. And yep, our main facility is in Sturgis, Michigan.
Okay.
Um, yeah, so very
Nice.
much
Have they been the same
uh
facilities from the beginning, like of the program?
no. We've
Hopped around a little bit.
relied, yep, and making sure that we found our Oklahoma City facility for sure has been pretty established, and then the Sturgis facility is relatively newish to the cabinet door game. I mean, I say that, and I think it's been 3 or 4 years at this
Yeah,
point. Um,
goes fast.
but we have been expanding in that world. Like we just opened our lamination line there, so now we're pressing all of our boards in Sturgis as well. So that helps a lot with supply chain and things like that.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I wanted to ask you about, I mentioned in some of the features we did a long time ago that we used Phoenix. And am I saying that
Mm-hmm.
right?
Well,
Or
when
is it
we
Phoenix?
offered it, it was Phoenix, and then at some point, when Formica took over the world, they changed it to Phoenix. So I think the correct is Phoenix. I still have to say Phoenix.
I
It's
do
too hard for
too.
me to change.
Like, okay. So, yeah. I, but then it became Noir, and I think it became
Mhm.
a product of yours instead of
Right.
Formica. When did that transition happen?
So the date I will remember forever, June 21st, 2020. I was in a
I see.
stuck at home in my house.
Yeah,
We that's the day we launched RAUVISIO Noir.
I see.
Yeah, so we offered Phoenix as part of our product lines, meaning laminate, cabinet door, boards, etc. For several years, we were like a master distributor of it in the U.S. and in over most of the U.S. And then that product for sure took off as someone that
Hmm.
used it. You
Oh
can
yeah.
attest to how great it was or is.
Hmm.
And so with the movement of some top level companies buying different companies and things like that, um, Phoenix became under the Formica umbrella. So of course, Formica has massive distribution power here in the States, and even globally. So we knew we didn't want to abandon that trend and still offer a product that was um, equal or better
Hmm.
to the Phoenix product, because of how we like to enter the market and the products we like to offer. So we developed RAUVISIO Noir in order to service the market in a similar way, and it has only grown
Hmm.
for us since bringing on that line and replacing it, or replacing Phoenix, for many different reasons, but also just because the trend has grown
Yeah.
significantly since that
Well,
that
I'm
product
guessing
was
now
brought
you
out.
have much more control too over
Absolutely.
colors and trends and things
Hmm.
like that.
Yeah, we can develop our own colors and ensure that we're meeting the needs of the market versus needing to pick and choose from what has already been developed. But I mean, Phoenix did a great job and does a great job
Yeah.
at doing that for sure. But yeah, having a comparable product, and being able to have control is a game changer.
Well,
It's still our
it's
top selling product for sure.
I believe it. Yeah. And it's
Hmm.
certainly comparable, if not better. I mean, I did a couple Noir right at the end, right after that transition.
Oh yeah.
Uh, I mean, you wouldn't if I wouldn't have known there was a product change, I wouldn't have even known the difference, right?
Right.
You'd have just kept on.
Yeah, there's a couple details where we like to claim to fame a little bit better than,
Hmm.
um, but it's slight. It's very similar in the market. Yeah.
So you mentioned ingrain kind of being getting closer to the TFLs, the high end TFLs. Well, we see, I'm sure you see this too, an enormous rise in closets amongst small and medium sized shops now that, Mosaic and software and CNCs are everywhere. It's so easy for these shops to start to do this now, relatively speaking. And so where do you see Rehau fitting in the TFL wave? That's seems like growing by the day. Um, yeah.
Yeah. I would say there's a handful of closet manufacturers I'm thinking off the top of my head, like Burke,
Hmm.
bespoke closets, some people who are doing super high end and want really high end materials for those closets. So, like, we're in their showroom and they use us and stuff. But where we come in mostly in that world, is in the closet world, and have been established for a while, is the edge banding. And not even just the regular edge banding, I'm talking the zero joint, the laser edge, the air tech, whatever you want to call it.
Yep. Speaking my
um,
language.
Absolutely. The closet industry was the first to really jump on the ball there. Um, Gosh, it's been We still talk about it being a new technology. It's over 15 years old.
Is it really
Um,
15 years old?
yeah, plus I think it's maybe 17-ish, 18. It took a while for people to get equipped with their machinery here in the States, but yeah, it's been a lot in the teens of years. And the closet industry here was the first to jump on it. Kitchen was slow or is slow.
Hmm.
Office furniture wasn't too far behind, but the closet industry jumped on that. And I think it's because they're mostly working with TFLs, melamines or TFLs, and
And a lot of white, right? Where the
a
joint is
lot of
very
white.
visible. Yeah.
Exactly. And if you think about it, in a closet that maybe some you have doors and you also have a lot of open shelving, what are you seeing first? The edge
Hmm.
band.
Absolutely.
Not so super important to ensure not only if there's like a super high quality match, but also those joints and seams. Also, those guys are wanting to run as most efficient as possible. I mean, everyone wants to run efficiently, but as you are talking about, with all the machinery and equipment that's available now to be able to run that fast, that's so much easier with a zero joint technology than having to deal with glue. And then yeah, ensuring that they're like the board has the highest quality edge band on it. So
Hmm.
you're dealing with less fraying issues on the edge, chipping. It'll happen here and there, but it's a basically the if your board quality goes down a little bit, I mean, think of it versus an HPL. Um, the more important the edge band is and having that nice sealed edge is just makes the difference in the project. And your edge band in the overall cost of the project is very
Yeah.
minimal.
Oh yeah, for sure. I
Mhm.
uh I love laser, hot air, banding, Air Force, Air Tech, whatever, brand you're
Whatever you want to call it
brand
these
you're
days.
you're you're buying. One of the things that comes up a lot, in the small and mid-sized shop world, they'll be upgrading their edge bander, whether it's a BSC, a home egg, whatever. And one of the choices that these shops have is, do I get this hot air technology? Is it worth an additional 20K, 50K? I don't know, whatever it is, depending on the
Mhm.
machine. Uh, so the machine guys have their opinions. You probably have an opinion, which I'm about to ask you.
Mhm.
But one of the things that comes up is the availability of, laser ready or hot air ready colors and matches. And what would you say the state of that is today? And how does it match up with some of the most common boards, common colors? Do you
Mhm.
think that's a warranted point, or kind of what do you think about that?
That is probably the question I get the most at IWF
I
if
I
walking in
bet.
the booth. Like someone has been chatting with the machinery manufacturer, and they usually send them our way to have
Hmm.
that discussion with them.
Hmm.
And yeah, so I would say we are adding a laser edge. So laser edge is our brand name for the zero joint.
Sure.
It works with hot air too, of course,
Yep. Yep.
but we're adding laser edge colors to our stock program like daily. So it's always growing.
Hmm.
And where we prioritize is on those TFL ranges. So on the Tafisas, the Uniboards, the Jaegers, the Chronospans, the Playoffs, because we know that those are the highest users.
Hmm.
So ensuring that we have their at least top colors available in all the different sizes and functionalities is super important. We have it for the HPL manufacturers too, but just not as quite of a volume. So to answer your first question, is it's being added, if not daily, once a week, we're adding a new color to the line, matching something and putting it into the collection. But I will say there's a little bit of a caveat there. So if you are a shop that's running similar colors, maybe it's a group of 20 colors that you offer to your clients. You're trying to keep your inventory nice and tight on the board side of things, um, and you're running those repeated. It's perfect. Perfect solution for you. If you are more of a job shop, which I feel like in the closet side of things isn't as prominent,
No, it's not.
um, then you may want to think of possibly a PUR
Hmm.
option instead of a air tech or hot air option because that random Abet Lemonade orange that was specified in your project, it may not be. And in order for us to make that happen for you, there are, of course, minimums. We can custom color match anything
Of
that's
course.
possible, but there's some minimums and lead times and things for
And I'm
that.
guessing
So,
doing that in laser edge is not easy to do small runs of
no.
custom colors and
Right,
yeah.
because you think about what laser edge is, it's an edge band with a co-extruded polymer functional layer on the back. So, and we make sure that that co-extruded polymer functional layer matches the top layer, so you get completely seamless.
I see.
So
So
not
that
only are
layer is
you
colored too.
exact
Ah,
exactly.
I did not know
So
that.
not only yeah, if anyone has a piece of laser edge, if you turn it to the back side,
Mm-hmm.
you'll see that like kind of tacky.
Well, I've looked
Um,
at it. I guess I've just never looked that close. I just thought it was maybe transparent or something because it obviously matches the
oh
color,
no.
but I didn't realize it was color matched too. Interesting.
Yes, because if you had a clear, I mean, and sometimes clear is the best option. We yeah,
Mm-hmm.
depending on solutions, sometimes clear is the right way of going about it, but we try to color match that functional layer as well. So if you're color matching that and needing to color match the top, we need to ensure we have that functional layer color concentrate as well to make that happen.
Interesting.
Otherwise, we're not putting out the best quality product for people, and that's what people want when they get laser edge.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I love laser edge, especially because I mean, for the shops that can, you know, buy a hot air bander and they can, their customers are there and they can point to it. As a customer, it's so hard to unsee a glue line after you've seen what it can be without. And I think it's a huge opportunity for small shops, because you can get into hot air for, I think under 100 still, 100K. And so,
I'm pretty sure.
man, it's certainly something to think about in that realm for sure. We talked briefly about or you said something, the custom color matches and stuff. I know that's always a interesting topic in the edge band world. Is everyone wants, tennis ball green and mint this and coral that, and they only want one roll and they want it a week from now. How do you guys handle that? I know it's a challenge. What challenges are there in kind of making short run colors?
So you're right. Where there is a challenge, and what some edge band companies will do will say, "This is close enough. Here, it's off our shelf. Go ahead."
Sure.
And your mint green is a tennis ball green, but you want a mint green.
Yeah.
And so that is an option that Rehau does not take.
Hmm.
Um, I guess we allow you to make that decision if you really want to pull off our like the closest match, but that's not something that we like. We want to, if you have Rehau product, we want that to be the best match possible. So right now we don't currently do super small runs of color matches.
What is the smallest? Like, how do you handle?
So for thin material, so anything under 1 millimeter, it's 6,000 feet. And for anything above 1 millimeter, it's 4,800 feet. Now, there could be exceptions. You could talk to your account manager. Maybe there's another person out there that could take the rest of it. Maybe we're willing to hold some of it for you. It's all a negotiation discussion. But we
Hmm.
can do the color matches for most of our lines between 2 and 4 weeks. So
It's pretty good.
next week is tough and will be tough
Hmm.
for a lot of people in the industry. But the 2 to 4 weeks, if you're doing some sort of planning and you're scheduling your jobs out a decent amount of time, and it's large enough,
Hmm.
um, we're gonna do the best possible match we can humanly do to that board versus giving you something that's close to. And even some of the technologies out there, digital printing is fantastic and does some of these small, quick runs. But to get just like a digital print out of your printer and an offset printer that's done professionally, there's some quality differences there. Now that could improve over the years, but right now you still see a little bit. That offset is still a little bit richer. Um, yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean about color is close enough idea.
Mm,
I mean, we've all done it. Anyone who's in a small shop has
once.
done it, right?
Hmm.
Especially with whites, especially if it's behind a painted door. You don't ever really see it in the same plane. It's always kind of in a shadow. It can be okay. But I'm kind of I'm becoming more of a proponent of just simply matching the case instead of trying to
Mm,
match the door.
sure.
If it's hard to find, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of companies and well, like European brands that make it over here. Those boxes have the banding matches the box, not the door,
Right.
because at
Right.
the time they don't know what door is going on the box, and so
They're mass producing those standard
right.
box sizes
And
that
if
are
people
one,
are
two, three,
paying
four.
500K for a kitchen like that, certainly that it's okay if we do it too. So, yeah, that's good.
And I would say, like, even with the whites, I mean, gosh, I think we have 200 whites,
Right.
if not
You
more. I
got to be able
mean,
to find one that's, I mean,
there's got to be something.
right. Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, what, so I mean, obviously we just talked about short color run challenges. What other challenges do you run into? I mean, obviously we had a global pandemic and all of the challenges that
Hmm.
come with that. What can you tell us? Any fun now horror stories looking back, things you had to weather and ride, and what challenges do you personally run into?
Sure. So I'll bring it from the product side first, and then I'll run into the marketing side. Um, yeah, we had, like you said, a global change of the world,
Hmm.
which right after that, as we all know, saw a huge spike of demand for building materials. So keeping up with the customer demand was a challenge. And in the middle of that, we very much realized that our facility in outside of Montreal could not keep up with
I see.
the growing um, demand for product, and the labor, sourcing labor in that area was proving over the years to be extremely tough.
I see.
Um, so we made the decision to move our manufacturing facility
Right in the middle of all of it.
right in the middle of all of it. It was a little after, but
I
yeah.
see.
Um, but moving a complex producing edge band is super complex. We have a quick little video on our website that just shows like 5 of the 85 steps that goes into it. And doing that and replacing, copy pasting it, even to with all of the Rehau rules and procedures and tolerances and policies, proved to be an extreme challenge. And it was a difficult year or so during that transition, but my goodness, we're out of it and it feels great. It
Good.
feels great
That's
to
good.
have a brand new, absolutely incredibly uh, innovative facility. As innovative as edge banding gets, and it's a gorgeous facility in Celaya, Mexico, and we are able to service the market with power now. Um,
It's
and
awesome.
it's nice to be on the other side. We'll just say that.
Yeah, I bet. The other thing too, I was going to ask you is, obviously we ran into each other in August at IWF.
Yep.
It's always good to see you in person. The booth was amazing. We were talking about your edge band display there. Give us like an inside look on the planning of an event like that, because I was telling you before we started recording, like I did a 10 by 20 by myself and I thought I was going to die. Like the amount of details that you have to think about is immense. I can't imagine for something as big as yours. Uh, how early does it start? And like,
Mhm.
walk us through trade show day. I'm just curious how it all goes.
Sure. There's so many parts that I hate with a passion and so many parts that I love with a passion.
Yeah.
And I mean, I would call us, we're like in the middle of the road. Our complexity is nowhere near as someone like Home Ag or BSE
Oh,
bringing
for sure.
like all that equipment in. But yeah, we actually had the biggest booth that I've ever done at Rehau. So for 15 years in North America. Um, so a 50 by 40, put that in a little bit of perspective. In like it, it was a really, really great show for us. And the planning starts about a year ahead of time. I always like to say the trade show industry and the wedding industry are super similar when
Hmm.
it comes to um, frustration and planning and details, and everything's marked up cost-wise, all the stuff. So yeah, we start the planning, like the conceptual planning about a year ahead, deciding, and I think this is my sixth planning of an IWF with a few AWFSs thrown in there too. A lot of it is just like you've done it before, so you know it's going to go wrong. So you try to prevent that. Something always goes wrong, understanding that. But yeah, you start with a concept, what kind of products you want to show and how. A lot of companies work with agencies to develop an aesthetic, a booth plan, etc. We don't do that. We do it all in-house. Of
I
course,
see.
work with someone to build it for us and execute our vision,
Who
but we
built
do
who
all of
built
that
it?
in-house. It was a company called Concepts 360 in Pennsylvania.
Nice.
John Gammon has been a partner for Rehau for 30 plus years. He's been around with us for a long time.
Nice.
And we had a different concept actually for the edge band. And then about 2 months before I thought my team was going to kill me, I saw a Rehau exhibit that they did in China, doing something similar with the edge band. And I was like, guys, we need that. We need it. So we almost created, it looked like a huge harp of edge band, basically, showing off different colors and it's always like, how do we make edge band look interesting in a booth besides just putting on a board,
I
which
mean, it's a
is
challenge, right? It's not like the
yeah,
sexiest product in the world, so it
no,
was a very cool idea.
definitely not. So, and then we always have the challenge of how do we show our very much like manufacturing oriented complementary product of edge band alongside our innovative, trend-setting surfaces and cabinet door solutions. So what we did was try to come up with a similar color scheme that would work throughout the whole booth, so it wouldn't look like you had two separate booths in one booth, and went from there. And I was really, really happy how it turned out. So, and also booth location. If anyone is looking into going to a trade show, your location is huge, and being visible from the machinery hall was really
You
important.
had a perfect spot where you
Yeah,
were for sure.
yeah. Yeah, your spot was really good too, because you were like right
I
there in the middle.
I loved it. I love being in
Yeah.
BC right there. Unfortunately, they're not allowing tooling companies in BC anymore.
Are you moving over
So
to A with us?
is that where you're going to be?
No, we have our booth. No, no, no. A is like
A
the
A is in like the
one over
second.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah, no.
I don't really want to be in A. I'll be
C.
honest.
No.
I'm not really sure
Are
what
they
we're going
gonna
to do.
make you go in A?
I have some other ideas. We'll see. I'm
Okay.
not.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of got to get that one figured out. It's kind of a bummer because
Yeah.
we loved that spot right next to All
Mhm.
Moxie, who we're friends with,
No,
and
we
it was
love all
great.
Moxie too.
Yeah.
Yep. Great partner.
Um, do you feel like trade shows are growing in interest level? Do you feel like consumers are starting to look and buy things in a different manner? Where do you think trade shows are going?
I think that you have to pick and choose. Well, there aren't very many in our industry
Yeah.
anymore. It's very,
I
very
mean,
few.
some small regional ones, but those are hard to do because a lot of effort for the traffic, I think,
Exactly.
right?
So, like, we decided this year we're going to go to the Closet Show in West Palm Beach.
Mm-hmm. Are you going to be
In
there?
yep, 10 by 20.
We'll see you
We'll have
there.
a booth. Wonderful.
Nice.
Um, so because that industry is super strong, we have a lot of traction there. Wanting to be visible from an edge band point of view.
Mm-hmm.
I think I have a philosophy of going to a trade shows or not. Do you need to show and launch a new product? Great place for it. A lot of buzz, a lot of interest. You have things to talk about. Do you need to earn back or earn brand trust? Yes, go to a trade show. If those two things are not if you're just going because you always go, or it's just a brand awareness activity and you're not needing to like earn something from someone, take a hard look at whether or not it's worth your dollars. I don't want to, our shows are great because luckily there's like really one every other year and then a couple small regionals. So you can do it if that is important to you and you're not utilizing a bunch of other activities from a marketing point of view. But I know my budgets are always tight, so I need to make
Mhm.
sure I'm using uh, the the funds properly. But yeah, that's kind of my motto. If we're not trying to show off something new or convince someone of something new.
Yep. Yeah, that's interesting. I kind of the mental game I'm playing now with my own, right? Because obviously we have a growing brand. It's not nearly as established as Rehau, obviously. But I look back at IWF and I wouldn't change a thing and I would do it again. But 95% of what I did is talk to people I already knew, right? So it was
Yes.
like,
Yes.
yes, there was some awareness raised. Yes, it helped like position the brand, and it to the outside world, it makes you seem like you're in the industry and you're legit, right? But I don't know. I'm going to think differently about some of these in the future because of what you just said. It's not as much of a slam dunk to do them all as I thought it would be, maybe even a year or two ago.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely.
um, we we were talking before the recording too about Dave Peterson. I got to bring him up. He's a friend of
What a great
mine.
guy.
Dave's awesome. I know he has started to use a lot of Rehau products. I know he loves, even though he just invested in a big finishing system, loves pre-finished products. They do a ton of
Mhm.
them. He's got an awesome Instagram account. If anyone wants to go find it for Peterson Cabinet Works now.
Mhm.
I think he's up to 24,000 followers or something, which is amazing.
Mhm.
Um, how do you view social media in how you grow, Ray? How you get awareness? Does it have a big effect in your business, or do you have a lot of customers that are still uh, what I'll call kind of dinosaurs in a nice way of how they consume information? And um, yeah, how do you view that?
It's a blend. I'll answer your first question. It is a piece of the pie.
Hmm.
So there's a lot of people think that social media is like all marketing or communication is now. Um, and that's simply just not true. We like to partner with the trade publications and do robust programs with them when we can. There's also like the your phone is listening to you, following you around the internet, which
Hmm.
it's not, by the way, it's other ways of them. And like it's called programmatic retargeting, digital tactics, but social is important. Um, it is important for us in many ways. One of those is exactly what you just said is like proving legitimacy. So if
Hmm.
you don't have an active social platform where you're posting regularly, you're interacting with customers or partners, you don't look legitimate,
Hmm.
especially to people I would call like my age-ish and younger,
Hmm.
who are now like your customers. So it's important to do that.
Well, that's what I was going to say,
Um,
right? Because the purchasers and the owners of these companies are getting younger,
exactly,
right? So
exactly,
it's
exactly.
changing.
Or we're getting older and we just have our established ways
Yes.
of communicating. But I definitely don't put all my eggs in the social basket. It's like I said, it's a piece of the pie. It's an important piece. And what's super important on there is engaging. So not just posting. There was a time, and Ray House had social for a very long time. Um, and there was a time when we were just posting and not really doing much, and it wasn't doing much for us.
Hmm.
Now we truly have um, partnerships with customers or other brands where we are not paid, not influencer paid stuff, but
Yeah.
which is awesome too.
Hmm.
But we're tagging each other in their posts, we're collaborating, we're interacting, we share when someone tags us in something, making sure to engage. And what Dave does such a great job at
Yes.
is being a human.
Yes.
So, not just talking about your products and how great they are, not just showing off, and this is something we need to be better at too, but not just showing off your products. It's having like a persona, someone who is talking about their projects, their products, what they bring to the market, and doing that as a human. Like I say, actual human. Like you see on his Instagram where he is taking people through a beautiful project he's done is he's explaining the reasons why he did this or the challenges he had in the project, how he overcame those challenges, and that's what gets people to really like you as a brand and how you get up to whatever 22,000 followers.
Yep.
It's huge. And especially
100%.
when you can collaborate. Like we did a great collaboration with Dave where he spoke about Rehau and why he chooses Rehau. And we collaborated on those posts, and they're still driving traffic to our website. So, and that was 3-4 months ago at this point.
Yeah. You're so right about, God forbid you show a little personality, or, like it's so important. People need to realize they're buying from a human being. It's critical. I'm glad that's working out well with him. I love Dave.
He's is fantastic, and it's been really fun to watch him grow.
And I feel like it's just the beginning. He's already grown a ton. I know.
Yeah.
He's just like, he's not even, I think, like 5 years into this current iteration of what he's doing, and it's like, the world is his oyster, I feel like.
Exactly. And he's so charismatic when he's talking he's like not scared at all to talk, which is a great person to have as your human. Because if you don't, maybe you should change it up or take some skills.
Yeah, but it is an interesting thing that I didn't think we were going to get to today, but that is a struggle that a lot of smaller, mid-size, even large companies have, is they, are woodworkers first, or they're whatever, and they're just not, the social side, the personality side, the business side was never their forte, and it's hard to like teach that to yourself. So when you have that side and you're also good with woodworking or cabinetry, whatever, it's a good combination. There's a lot of, you can grow a business pretty fast when you have all those attributes like him.
I would definitely agree, and I'd encourage, it's a learned skill. Like sometimes it comes super innately to people where you can just talk and you sound great and look great, and people are attracted to you just regularly. But it's also something that can be learned. And how do you learn to do it? Practice. So I'd encourage everyone to, that is something you want to take as a direction,
Absolutely.
just start. And then of course, there's like courses and things you can take to make it better, but nothing's going to happen if you don't start.
You kind of just got to do it. I mean, perfect case in point. I'm very introverted, right? But here I am hosting a podcast, right? So it's like, you kind of just gotta do it sometimes.
Yeah.
That's awesome. This has been super fun. Thank you for coming. Where should people go to see what you've got on social, what some of the things you're doing? I'd love for people to find more of your product.
Absolutely. So most of our stuff currently is being posted on Instagram. We're on Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook. So Rehau Interiors, NA, is where you can find everything from a social point of view. And then if you type in na.rehau.com/millwork, you'll get directly to our world at Rehau. Rehau's a big world of lots of different products. So, or just go to Google and type Rehau edge band or Rehau decorative surfaces, and you'll find us there. Google knows that you're
in the cabinet door, and the cabinet door program information is there. And
yeah, if you just type Rehau cabinet doors, it'll take you exactly where you need to go. You can kind of see the blossoming program there of, like I mentioned, the lamination, and then also the accessories or accoutrement we are adding all the time, like integrated handles or hinge boring services, or making sure we can offer things in grain matched. Almoxy is a great partner of ours to be able to offer that to the world. So
it's awesome. Well, we're going to try and get this episode out before the closet show. So for those that are listening to June 11th through 13th, Closet Expo, Rehau will be there. I think I'm 98% sure I'm going to be there too, hanging out. So
I hope so. That would be great to see you.
Yes, me too. So thank you, Jessie, for coming, and this was awesome. I'm sure we'll see you in a few weeks.
Yes, thanks so much for having me, Nic.
Yeah, see ya.